guys, welcome back. These days, with the cost of food having risen so much in recent years, I don't know about you, but I think that keeping meals budget friendly is more important than ever these days. And of course, if you're like me, you definitely don't want to sacrifice on nutrition or how delicious meals are. So, with that in mind, this theme of this video is budget-friendly meals, and I'm going to share with you 7 budget-friendly meals that we are enjoying this week. The first dinner that I'm doing in this week are some lamb chops. I'm also doing some roasted potatoes alongside, and then I'll also be doing green beans for a vegetable. So the first thing I'm getting ready are the roasted potatoes. So I have them going in the oven in some lard, and then I'm just roasting those. They take the longest to cook, so I'm getting those started first. Just really simple, just chop them up, throw them into a pan with some lard, and sprinkle some salt on, and they're good to go. I'm also getting my green beans going in my cast iron skillet on the stove. I'm not cooking them yet, but I'm just putting them together, just a little butter and frozen green beans. And then the reason why I'm including lamb chops in this meal is because lamb is one of the most budget-friendly meats out there, especially as far as trying to source high-quality grass-fed meat. It saves so much. So I have my lamb chops. I'm making a quick little kind of a rub to go on top of those. So I have some olive oil, some Dijon mustard. I have oregano, thyme, and some rosemary. So I'm adding those to a little bowl along with some crushed garlic, and then mixing that together into kind of a little mixture, a little paste type of mixture, and then I'm just going to put some of that on the top of each of these lamb chops, and then I'm going to cook them in the oven. They do not take very long at all to cook, and then as soon as they're done just the way I like them, then we'll bring them out and enjoy them. But definitely look into lamb. If you're kind of in a stuck place as far as sourcing high quality organic grass-fed meat, look around for somebody in your area who raises lamb. They are so affordable compared to like beef or free-range pork, and especially pasture-raised chicken. Those are absolutely the most expensive typically, but look into lamb. It really saves us a lot of money when we usually buy 2 whole lambs every year, and then we're able to keep some cuts of lamb into our weekly meal rotation for most of the year. It's really nice to have some variety that way, and it's really delicious and saves money. It's also a really healthy, high quality meat that a lot of people do really well with. I forgot to also mention when I was talking about the rub ingredients that I also have a sprinkle of mineral salt and then also some fresh ground black pepper. So I wanted to mention that as well. But this is a nice recipe to include in a weekly meal rotation also because it feels fancy. And so sometimes it's nice to not only have your standard go-tos that your family likes all the time, but to also just kind of work in some things that they have kind of a fancier feel to them without being a bunch of extra work. This is honestly one of the easiest dinners to put together that there is. You just chop up those potatoes, put them in the pan with some lard. You can use a different fat like tallow or something if you want. You've got these green beans in a pan with some butter. Just they saute up super quickly. And then you saw how easy it was to put together that little mixture to go on top of the lamb chops. Put them in the oven, and then everything is ready. It doesn't take that long. Really delicious. It's also a really nice, fresh, kind of feeling springtime meal, so it can be really great for this time of year. The next meal that I'm making this week is spaghetti. This is one of my family's favorite dinners. Everyone loves it. Of course, it's very budget friendly, and I keep it really, really simple and easy and quick. So I kind of like to have a loose template as far as meal planning with themes for different days. So Thursday is our Italian day, and most of the time these days I've been doing spaghetti on Thursday or Italian day. And this is one of those things where you have a lot of different options. You can make sourdough noodles yourself. I've done that before. What I've been usually doing these days is just some organic pasta. Now, if you are coming from kind of my GAPS community, you might be kind of wondering about that, but Dr. Natasha says that when your digestive system is healthy, you're not currently experiencing any symptoms, everything seems to be good, it's okay to include things like the homemade sourdough bread or even traditional pasta from a good source once in a while, as often as once a week, as long as everything is good. So just in case you're kind of coming to this video from a GAPS diet perspective, I just wanted to throw that out there. I know that it works fine for us, and so that's why we include it and enjoy it. And then, like I said too, very budget friendly. So for the meat, I'm just browning some ground beef. I have some mineral salt in there. Oftentimes I will add some ground black pepper too, but I'm leaving that out because my baby is going to be eating some of this meat along with us, and I'm not quite giving her pepper yet. I'm also chopping up some fresh onion and squeezing some fresh garlic cloves through my garlic press and adding that to the meat as it cooks. Then I have my big pot of filtered water here boiling. When it's ready, I'm adding those spaghetti noodles, letting them boil for the right amount of time. I'm also going to be making a garden salad to go alongside this. I like when there's something kind of meat and carb heavy to have something kind of light and refreshing like a salad to go along with it. So it'll just be a simple lettuce salad with some cucumber, cherry tomatoes, and then a homemade vinaigrette salad dressing to go on it. Another thing that I love to do on a very regular basis that definitely keeps things very easy as well as very budget friendly is whenever it really works well, have a leftover night. Now, of course, this depends on what your family likes, but our family does not mind one bit. So if there's a particular night and I notice we've got kind of a lot of leftovers from the past few dinners in the refrigerator, and it doesn't really make sense to make an entire new meal tonight with all of this food sitting in here, I will go ahead and heat up those leftovers and we will enjoy those. On this particular night, we had a lot of meat. some carbs, and quite a lot of meat, and we were pretty low on the vegetables. So I did decide to go ahead and saute some mixed organic vegetables in some butter, and that way we just had a bit more vegetables to add along to everything else that we were having. But the way this usually works is I'll heat everything up in the oven. We like to use glass storage containers for our leftovers, so it makes it really easy to be able to just pop the lids off, stick those in the oven, usually 350 degrees Fahrenheit works really well. Heat everything up, and then people can come and choose what they would like depending on what there is to choose from, and then we'll just plate that up for them, add some vegetables along the side. We're adding sauerkraut for our fermented food at this meal, and then enjoy. So yeah, if you're looking for a way to really stay budget friendly and keep things easy, because on this night all I did was heat everything up and saute some vegetables, so easy. Definitely work in a leftover night once in a while. For this next meal, I'm going to be roasting 2 whole organic pasture-raised chickens in the oven. Now, the reason why I'm including this meal in a week of budget-friendly meals is because I'm going to be doing something that will actually stretch these to make at least 2 dinners. Actually, to be honest, I got 3 dinners out of this. So for tonight, we're going to be eating part of the chickens just as roast chickens, and then I'm going to be making a separate recipe with these a little bit later in the week, a couple days later. So these are actually whole chickens that we raised out back, and so that's one way that we can keep things more budget friendly, is raising them ourselves. Whenever that's possible, I always highly recommend it. It's so great for so many different reasons. But alongside the roast chickens, I'm going to be doing rice. And so I have those chickens in there. I usually like about a 3-hour cook time. I start them at a higher temperature, like maybe 425, and then I lower it to like 325 for the second half of the cooking. And then that allows them to turn out really nice. And then alongside, I'm doing some rice. So I soaked my organic white rice for a while, and then I strained that out. And then I'm cooking it in some meat stock that I had in the refrigerator to get some nice meat stock benefits, some collagen, different things like that in there. Added some mineral salt, and I'm using my Instant Pot to cook the rice. I really like that method for cooking rice. Fast and easy, simple cleanup. And then for a vegetable alongside, I'm sauteing some broccoli in some butter in my cast iron skillet on the stove. So again, another very easy, dinner to put together. Great for when you have your hands full, like I do right now. I also just happened to have a batch of cinnamon rolls. These are sourdough cinnamon rolls, so it's a couple-day process, but I just happened to have those ready also to bake at this time, so we're going to enjoy those cinnamon rolls for dessert after we have our roast chicken, rice, and broccoli. Along with our weekly themes for certain days that we have, we like to keep things really simple and always enjoy homemade burgers every Sunday. I really like this for Sundays because it doesn't take a whole lot of prep ahead of time. I do make sure to make some sourdough hamburger buns in the week beforehand, but other than that, it's as easy as just taking the frozen grass-fed beef patties out that day, grilling them, and then enjoying them with a bunch of different toppings. We have our homemade ketchup, we have our homemade fermented probiotic pickles, some lettuce, and then we have some fries that we cooked in tallow, and that just makes a really fun Sunday meal. The next day is Monday, and sticking with our themes, I like to have some type of roast every Monday. I love this for Mondays because you can stick it in the oven, get to work with all of your stuff that you want to get done on Monday to get your week off to a great start. And then by the time dinner time rolls around, all you have to do is pull dinner out of the oven. It's a one-pot meal. You can just sit down and eat right away. It's great. So today we are doing a leg of lamb roast. This is again one of our cuts of lamb from our 2 whole lambs that we get every year. I'm pouring some sauerkraut brine in the bottom because it's so delicious, and actually it starts to ferment the meat a little bit, which helps the meat be more digestible. It enhances the flavor. I love using my extra brines from fermented vegetables to cook meat in. If I plan ahead enough, I like to let the meat sit in the brine for a while before cooking, but even if I didn't plan ahead well enough, it's just sitting in there for a bit while it gets started cooking and while I'm putting it together, and even that is great. So I am seasoning that with some mineral salt, some pepper, fresh cloves of garlic, some onion, adding some carrots and potatoes. I'm also adding some rosemary because I think garlic and rosemary are delicious with lamb. And then this just goes into the oven at a low temperature, usually 300 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 275 if it's a really long cook time. It just bakes in there all day in my cast iron Dutch oven. And then, like I said, dinner time comes. All you have to do is pull it out, serve it up. I like to pile lots of butter on those potatoes. And then we are enjoying some sauerkraut on the side for our fermented food. For today's dinner, as promised, I am pulling out the rest of those whole chickens that I roasted a couple days ago, and I am going to make something with those. So I have 2 casserole dishes, 2 glass 9 by 13 inch casserole dishes. I am chopping up all of the chicken. So when we had the whole roasted chickens for dinner, after dinner I went ahead and took all the meat off the bones. We just not only saved the meat, but we also saved all of the cartilage, the skin, the connective tissue, and I'm going to show you why. But for now, I'm going ahead and taking all of the meat off the bones, and I am cutting it up into nice little small pieces and then adding that to the bottom of my glass casserole dishes. Then I am also reserving those other nibbly bits, like Dr. Natasha of the GAPS diet likes to call them, and I'm going to do something extra special with those. So I have a mixture of some white meat, some dark meat. Usually when we eat the whole roasted chickens, we tend to enjoy most of the dark meat on that night, and then we have mostly white meat for the next meal, which is great because that is easy to use in other dishes like casseroles. So next thing I'm doing is adding some organic frozen mixed vegetables. This has peas, carrots, green beans, and corn, adding those on top. And then remember all the skin, cartilage, connective tissue, soft tissue that I had? I am adding that to a blender. I'm adding some salt. I'm adding some fresh pepper, not fresh ground, it's already ground, but it's still good. And then I'm adding some poultry seasoning. This is actually a blend of French seasoning, French spices that I'm trying this time, but you can do anything, sage, rosemary, thyme, any of that works well. Any kind of good poultry type spices. I'm adding a little bit of cream from the top of my raw milk and then some butter. And I'm going to whiz all of this up. So I have not added the spices yet, just to be clear. I'm adding everything else to the blender. I'm going to whiz this up so it's very, very fine. And what this does is it turns into a chicken gravy that is so nutritious. So it's full of all of that collagen, the fat, the vitamins from the skin. It is just awesome. It's packed with nutrients. It's amazing. So once it's really super smooth, like a really nice gravy consistency, then I go ahead and add my spices, and then I don't want these blended to where they're non recognizable anymore. So I just pulse it a little bit just to mix those in. So it's like a very smooth chicken gravy with discernible spices in it. And then I go ahead and I just pour that over top of my meat and vegetables in the pan. And then while I'm working on the next step, I'm going to go ahead and put these into the oven. I have the oven set to 400 degrees, 425 degrees Fahrenheit, sorry. And then I'm just going to put these pans with what's in there so far in the oven so that they can get a head start on those frozen vegetables cooking and the gravy just getting warmed through and combined well. And then I'm going to pull out some biscuit dough. These are sourdough biscuits that I had in the refrigerator ahead of time. And I'm going to roll those out. I'm just going to cut them into rounds. And I'm going to put those on the top of my casserole. And then once those are on there, I'm going to put it back into the oven to finish baking until those biscuits are baked through and starting to become nice and golden brown on the top. And this dinner is always a huge hit with my family. My kids love it. Nobody even thinks about how nutrient dense and healthy that gravy element is to it. They don't even need to know. It's just delicious and they love it. So I hope that you enjoyed coming along for a week of budget-friendly meals at our house. Make sure that you check out my Patreon. There's a link down below where you can join. I'm going to be doing some live cook with me videos on there. I'm just starting Patreon, so I hope you can join me. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!